Okay, sounds good. Well, I only have one more question, and it goes back to, again, Nevada. When I was there, I had the opportunity to go to the prison and meet with Brian Bundy, and also Dave Bundy. Ammon refused. I had tried to see him, but he refused because of the position he's taken on strip searches. But what I'm leading to is, you had mentioned earlier the problem that's happening in the Nevada trials is they count on these attorneys, defense attorneys, who are really officers of the court. They're worried about their careers. They're worried about having to appear before that judge or in that court some future case.
They are directly threatened.
So the point is, and Ryan is aware of that. Ryan's extremely astute. Ryan is very knowledgeable. He has spent his life studying the Constitution. His wife, Angie, complained to me that they went to every single constitutionally related seminar or workshop or class that they could go to throughout their marriage. And so that's why he's self-represented right now. But the problem is the jail doesn't let him represent himself. I mean, they have so much control over him in terms of what can come in and out of the prison. They will not let those USB, what do they call them, thumb drives. When he wants to get some documents, they won't let him in. Or if somebody comes to talk to him as a counsel, which he has a right to counsel, even though he's representing himself. The counsel has to go through a strip search, and they don't want to go through a strip search, so they stay away. And my point is the whole idea behind pretrial detention is that very thing, to suppress you and to oppress you, to keep you from having an effective defense. It hampers your defense. What do we do for somebody like Ryan, who has chosen to go that route, not use the officers of the court, but they're completely suppressing him?
Well, look at that. That is a problem. We want to try to expose that in the court case that we're doing and going after these judges, and hopefully that'll deter other judges from doing that. Again, if we get an indictment on a judge, it will deter all judges, because we will indict anyone who breaks their oath of the Constitution. Of course, you don't indict first. You make a connection with that individual and you let them know that they're violating their oath, and that they need to fix this problem by their, not acting this way or doing this anymore, and repent it. And if they don't, then we're going to take them into consideration for indictment. And that's how you deal with that from our perspective. But we're not in that position to be able to. We're just moving into that position now, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. But yeah, look at. These people shouldn't even be in jail in the first place. First of all, they broke the law. But even if the court had a case against them, even if this court case, let's say it had a case against these people, they still shouldn't be sitting in jail. In order to, they should be out preparing for their case to defend themselves and take care of whatever business they have to take care of. But you're right, in jail, that's part of the process, to prevent them from getting counsel, to prevent them from getting access to documents and information, and prevent them from studying. All of that is taking place in the federal prison.
Well, they're breaking their own statutes, John, because there are laws that they're supposed to supply computers and this and that.
Absolutely, but they don't get anything.
Private for-profit prisons that don't supply the stuff, and nobody's holding their feet to the fire. So again, whatever agency is supposed to make sure that the prison is administering to the prisoners, and of course that got to be a big thing in the 70s and 80s. Everybody got sick of prisoners. Oh, well, they go to jail, they get an education. Well, that ain't happening no more, is it?
How about affidavits? Ryan could write.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was getting to that. The fact is we need people that have knowledge of that and the incident of that. Look, when he says I need a pencil and they won't give him a pencil, or he needs to go to the law library and they don't let him, we need an affidavit on that, whether he does it and tells it to his wife. And yeah, maybe they're going to torture him for it, but guess what? Somebody has to do it, and they have to get it out. And then that affidavit can be put in a case in that local municipality and say, look, you need to pull this prison's charter because they're not going by the rules. And if they got a bunch of affidavits that they're abusing these prisoners, somebody's going to come down and close them. They're going to lose profit. That's all they understand. So whatever agency is charged with making sure that these prisoners are supposed to get this stuff, Where are they? Give us affidavits, and we'll sue them. We'll take it to court and we'll sue them. That's the only thing they understand.
Can I add something here?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The affidavit, I even had a lawyer tell me within the last week, affidavits mean nothing in court. They're not evidence. You never use them. They're no good. Yes, they're no good in the statutory courts that we're talking about where there's corruption. They do mean something when Ryan submits this as evidence. It's accepted, and then he testifies to them right there in a common law Article 3 court. The jury is the decision maker, and those affidavits will be gold.
Well, yeah, if he can even get the judge to allow it to be admitted. See, what I witnessed.
Well, that's why we have a court without a judge.
Navarro's court was she just shut everything down. I mean, everything the prosecution wanted, hundreds and hundreds of admissions of evidence were granted by her, by the prosecution. You know, volumes and volumes. When the defense tried to admit something, she shut it down. She said, no, it's not relevant, or it's not going to be helpful to the jury. I mean, even though it was extremely relevant and extremely helpful to the jury, she just shut it down. And, you know, like you say, why aren't these defense attorneys filing objections? Because they're fear for their careers, they're fear for their life.
Right.
That's why they're not filing objections.
They're threatened. Look at in a lot of these cases. Everybody knows exactly how the end is going to be. It's already decided. You know, it's an unwritten thing, and they know what's the end going to be on. And the lawyers are just in it for the money ultimately, because they continue to play the game and they see the corruption, but they don't do nothing about it. They play the game, participate. But look at
$100 a day, what they're receiving as a government-appointed attorney.
Here's the facts in any court of law. Obviously, these are not courts of law, but nevertheless, any court system that's just. The fact of the matter is that a sworn statement stands as truth in a court of law, period. Unless it's rebutted, it stands as truth. And then if it's rebutted, then you look for the inconsistency to find out who's lying, because that is seen through the cross-examinations. You know, any good detective will tell you, you know, they really solve their cases by looking for contradictions. Wait a second, your buddy said this and you just said that. Well, what happened there? You know, and then, you know, then the story changes again and again. You start to see the truth. It exposes itself. You see, you just put the light on it, and evil is exposed. So affidavits is important, and in any court case, you know, we do everything with affidavits in all court cases. But the key again is putting the flesh. If there's a judge involved, you got to put his flesh on the line, and you got to get rid of that judge. You got to move your case into a court of record, which is a trial by jury, and you got to remove the judge from involvement altogether. And that's what we've done. You know, we wrote memorandums in order to control the judge. We wrote memorandums in order to control the process of the court. We wrote memorandums in order for them to understand that we're under the common law, and this is going to be jury trials. All of this was the prerequisite work that was necessary in order to start filing all these papers. And before that, we had filed about 19 documents in all 94 federal district courts concerning the subversion within our government, or at every level of government. And what was going on. So all of this, we took a year to get all those papers and to serve all those papers on every federal district judge, every state judge, every court on the federal level, and we also filed it for Congress. So you know, all of government has been exposed to what we're doing, and then we took all those papers that we had been serving for a year and filed them as evidence inside this court case.
Yeah.
They can't argue that they cannot make an argument in our court. They can only ignore us, and they can only ignore us for so long. At some point, the dam has got to burst.